Hey, I have a little self-working prediction effect for you. I'll just get right into the tutorial, so I hope you like it. First of all, I would just present a prediction deck and a selection deck, and I would show the spectator the cards. They can see that they're genuinely mixed, and I would just tell the spectator right out that the cards are set precisely in a certain way. Even though they are mixed precisely in such a way that they're going to predict precisely what card they will choose out of the other deck. And not only that, it'll predict something else, and I'll show you in a moment. So we'll leave that in full view, and we present the selection deck, again showing all the cards are genuinely mixed, and you can invite the spectator to cut the cards as many times as they like, and then you ask the spectator to select a card just by cutting anywhere they wish, set the portion down, and then just to slide the card they cut at, keeping it face down so neither of us can see what the card is, and we'll just leave it set face down just like that. And we'll gather the rest of the cards up, and then I would again ask the spectator to cut the cards anywhere they like, and we mark the cut just like that. And now what we've done here is I would then go on to say to the spectator, for the first time we're going to look at the selected card and the two cards that you've cut at, and you're going to see how the relationship of the two this deck will actually predict. And what I mean by that is the card that we see here, the 3 of diamonds in this case, will be precisely in the position in the deck that the two cards you've cut at, the values will indicate. So if you add the two values of the two cards you've cut at and then double it, that number, whatever that total is, will precisely be the number that this card will reside in this deck. So let me show you. So we look at the 7 of hearts and the 3 of spades, the two cards the spectator freely chose or cut at. We add those together, that's 10, and we double that. That would be, of course, 20. So we'd go to the deck here, and we would count down 20 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and the 20th card, believe it or not, will be the 3 of diamonds. And that's how the deck is set up and how they will work mathematically with one another. And the deck can actually be reset very easily and cut again as many times as they like. And you can repeat the trick if you wish, or just have it at least reset for showing another spectator. So it's really that simple. It's extremely self-working, and it's all based around a setup. And the beauty of this setup, I know a lot of us don't like setup tricks, but the nice thing about it is you can just straight out say that the prediction deck is set up, even though the cards, you can show them are genuinely mixed, but they're mixed and set up in a precise way that we're not going to mix it any further. We're just going to leave them as is in the prediction box. And as far as the selection deck goes, the spectator will genuinely feel that they've had free choice because they've cut the cards any way they've liked, and they can, again, they can cut anywhere to select a card, so they have genuine free choice of whatever card they've chosen. Now how this works is the cards that are sitting beside the selected card, the two cards, so let's say they select this card, 4 of clubs, the card next to the 4 of clubs and the two cards beside the 4 of clubs, mathematically, the way the deck's set up, when added together and doubled, will precisely match the location of the 4 of clubs in this prediction deck. Now, in order for this to work, another thing that's very important to note is that the two suits of the counting cards, the cards that you add together, they'll either be hearts and spades, or clubs and diamonds, or both clubs and both spades, or both hearts and both diamonds. Now, what I'm trying to get at here is, if any of the suits are hearts and spades, or either one of those two suits, then you know to count from the face down deck of the prediction deck. If the two cards that you add together are diamonds or clubs or both, you then count from the face up prediction deck. That's the way the deck is set up. So that's an important thing to note. And you can instantly reset the trick just simply by making sure you set the selected card between the two counting cards. Okay. Now, again, you'll notice too that how it seemed like a random selection when they cut, let's say they cut at this card, make sure right after they cut to select a card that you take the bottom portion that they've cut from and you set it right on top of the upper portion that they've cut off. So then all you have to do is get them to, when they go to do the cutting for the random two counting cards, they will think that they're cutting at two random cards, but in actuality you're doing the cross-cut force to force the original two cards that were beside the selected card that are now on the top and bottom. So when they go to cut, make sure they set the portion down and you complete the cut by crossing the bottom portion over top of the upper portion. And then you say that you're marking the cut, and that is called the cross-cut force. And you have the bottom and top cards now side by side, and they think that they've cut at a random portion in the deck. So that's how that works. So again, you make sure that you explain before you even show the cards that you're going to add the two values together and then double them. And whatever that total is, that will be the position of the selected card in the deck. And then when you go to total the cards, remember to pay attention to what the suits are. We know spades or hearts tells us that we're going to be counting our total from the face down prediction deck. If they were hearts, if they were clubs or diamonds, we would know to count from the face up. Okay, so that's how that works. So we can set the cards back and it's reset. Now, there is a very rare possibility that the way this is mathematically set up so that the spectator can cut the cards repeatedly, I've had to remove some cards that just would not work in the system. And what I've done is I've replaced those cards with two jokers. It's important that you put two jokers in the deck to retain the look of the size of the deck. Now we're still a little less. I had to remove a total of seven cards. So adding two jokers just brings it down to we're missing basically 5 cards out of the deck. So it hides it enough. The spectator shouldn't notice anything. But it's probably best to keep the decks farther away from each other so they're not too comparable. But it actually doesn't look too bad. It's a slightly smaller size deck, but it's very unnoticeable unless you knew about it. Now, anyway, what I was getting onto, I was saying that there's the off chance that the spectator might select the 6 of hearts. Now you're going to remember that the 6 of hearts is a special card in this deck. It's the only card that will not work for the countdown in this prediction, but it will reveal another very mind-blowing prediction. And what that is you can play along like you're going to do a count. Like let's say they've cut at the 6 of hearts. You set the 6 of hearts aside. You do the cross-cut force. You can play along like you're adding the two cards together because you've explained to them that you've got to add them and double it, of course, and arrive at the selected card. But you know that it's not going to happen because the 6 of hearts is obviously not in this deck. It's actually not in here. There's actually only 51 cards, and I've purposefully put a joker on top of the deck so that the counting for all of the other cards will work out fine. But when it comes to the 6 of hearts, when you do the counting, what's going to happen is you're going to remove the joker after the count is done and they see that there's no 6 of hearts, and you explain, well, that's weird, let's remove the joker, let's see how many cards we have, and then get them to count the rest of the cards without the joker, and they will find that there are actually 51 cards, and they will also, of course, find that there is indeed no 6 of hearts in the deck. So they'll be totally blown away to find that their 6 of hearts is completely gone, and that there's exactly only 51 cards left, and if you get rid of the joker, of course. So that prediction will blow them away, but that'll only happen, of course, again if they select the on the off chance they select the 6 of hearts. So that's how the setup is designed for both decks. So I'll write that in the description box for the selection deck, the precise setup. And again, The jokers can go anywhere in the selection deck. It doesn't matter where the jokers go. In the off chance that the selected card happens to be a joker, and you've already done the cross-cut force, and then because we're revealing the card afterwards, of course. So if we look at the card, it's a joker, and we've done the cross-cut force. Simply just set the joker aside and say, okay, the joker won't work. We won't use the joker, and then just simply replace the cross-cut force as just set the deck back to normal. Just square up the deck. It'll work fine because the cards are already set. You can get the spectator to just cut somewhere else in the deck and select a new card, and then you can continue the trick as is. Now, should they select a card, let's say, and they get a regular card, but after the cross-cut force, when they look at the two cards, one of the cards that you go to add together happens to be a joker. If that's the case, just remove the joker and simply look at the next card that's beside the joker, and the trick will work fine. The cards are set up precisely fine. If the joker happens to be this card, of course, remove it, look at the next card, and use that card to add with the other card, and it'll work. The cards are set that way. So, I hope that makes sense. So again, I'll have in the description box a precise setup for the selection deck, and the selection deck is designed, like I said, to repeatedly cut, so it won't ruin the setup. The cards are set up precisely that way. As far as the prediction deck goes, it must be set up exactly with the joker on top, and must remain in the same position, and you can tell that to the spectator that the cards are set exactly the way they are for the prediction, so you don't need to mix those cards at all anyways, and you can put those in the card box and do the reveal later, and always leave that, of course, in full view. So that's the trick, and I hope that made sense, and I hope you enjoy it. So thank you for watching.